We'll start with Mark Medina.
Hey, Ty, good to see you.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah, not too much. Hope you're hanging in there. The fact that you guys have already gone through the experience of what it's like to play games without fans, in what ways will that make it an easier adjustment this upcoming season? And I guess what other adjustments do you think might still be in store because now it's playing without fans in NBA arenas?
We just have to have the right mindset. I think every team is having to deal with it. It's not just us. So, the biggest thing and the biggest work for us this season is being able to adapt. We have to adapt and be able to play in our surroundings. We know we're going through tough times right now. That's no excuse. Everyone's going through it. So the key word for this year for us is adapt.
Okay, we're going to move over to Andrew from the LA Times.
Hey, Ty, in your playing career, I'm curious to build off that. Who was the coach who maybe left the biggest impact on you in terms of making you feel like you were adaptable, flexible, kind of prepared for whatever came your way?
I had a lot of great coaches. It's hard to say. I took a lot from Phil Jackson. I took a lot from Scott Skiles, who I respect a lot. Doc Rivers, both Van Gundy's, Jeff and Stan. Doug Collins. So I had a lot of great coaches, but I just try to pull from each guy. I try to pull from each coach and try to learn a little bit from each person. And being prepared-wise, I think Phil was more because, he always challenged you mentally, every single day. We had different exercises. We was in the war room and we had, different exercises we had to do in the war room. We had yoga sessions. We had meditation sessions. So I think as a young player, being 20 years old, 21 when I came into the league, being challenged mentally like I did with Phil, I would probably say that was the biggest and that was the most.
Is that, I guess, how do you like to challenge guys now, like in terms of getting them out of their comfort zones to feel like when it's time to adapt in a high stakes game, like you can really push those buttons? Like is there like a go-to way you try to get guys prepared for that?
Well, I got to fill this team out. It's a different situation, but these guys have done it. They've been on a big stage and performed and making big shots and been in big moments where they make key plays. So my job is just to get them in the right position, the right spot, and make sure they're comfortable. But we have guys on the team who's been in those positions and they've been successful. So we just got to keep doing it and just keep moving forward.
Okay, we're going to move over to Justin Russo.
Hey, Ty. Good to see you.
Justin, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Now that you've had a bit more time to assess the roster and the pieces in front of you, I was wondering what you see on the offensive side of the ball, whether that's more weak side action, more Iverson cuts, more ball movement in general, that could unlock the team's full potential on that end.
I think change the size of the floor. I've always been a big guy, a big fan of just, playing through our best players, our best offensive players, and then those guys making plays for everybody else. And the biggest thing for us right now is just, what we've been learning the last few days is how to play after the play. We call a play for Kawhi, PG, Lue, any of our guys, Luke, Marcus, that when we don't have it and they make a pass out of the play, that we're able to continue to keep playing without getting stuck and getting stagnant. So that's been our main focus the last, 3 or 4 days of just teach us how to play after the play, and guys are doing a good job of picking that up.
Okay, we're going to move over to Charlie.
Good morning, Ty.
Hello, Charlie.
Good. So you mentioned that the key word for this year is adapt. How can you, in this crazy off season, prepare to be ready to adapt? What do you do using what you learned last year from the team being around and also this truncated off season?
Well, we've already had a taste of it, being in the bubble last season. So guys got a feel for what it's going to be like and, how it is. The biggest difference is, traveling and not being able to go outside the hotel. So there's going to be a lot of time for, team bonding, a lot of time for guys to be around each other, get to know each other. So, it can be good for us, so we've already seen it. We know what to expect. And now we just got to, do what we have to do to take advantage of it.
We're going to move over to Miriam.
I'm just going to jump on the adaptability part too. So as a coach, how important is it on your end and your staff to be adaptable also, sort of to your players?
Yeah, everyone has to adapt. You know, it's not just the players, it's the coaches, it's the front office guys because they're used to going to all the games and, you know, be able to be at the game. So we all have to adapt. You know, it is what it is, and there's no excuses. And, you know, whatever the NBA puts in front of us, we have to be ready for that challenge.
And as far as you guys being in hotels and not, you know, having the freedom to move around, does that put an onus on you to keep these guys entertained and focused? And
No, not to keep them entertained, but just, you know, having different ways of those guys having access to each other and be able to, you know, play their video games and get together and do whatever they want to do. So we've been working on that for the last couple of days with, you know, with Lawrence and just trying to see the best, you know, possible options to get those things done for the players. And that's the most important.
Okay, we have time for a few more questions. We're going to move over to
Hey, Ty, just like you had said, PG and Kawhi said it would be huge for them this year to be able to go through training camp healthy. I'm wondering, have they gone through everything you've asked of the whole team, every drill and everything so far, and how have they looked so far?
Every single thing. They haven't missed one drill, one activity. They look great, you know, just doing things at game speed. I'm doing it with pace, and they've been phenomenal. So they're just excited to be here, excited for the new challenge, as well as I am and our coaching staff as well.
Okay, last question. We're going to go to Thomas.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing, Thomas?
How you doing? I just wanted to get your thoughts on Pat Bev and kind of how you'll use him this year. I know last year point guard depth was a topic of conversation, and I know he was in and out of the lineup. I just wanted to get your thoughts on how you were, you know, on how you plan on using Pat this year.
Using Pat the same way, you know, we've always used him. I think his energy is infectious. I think we have a guy like Pat Beverley who, you know, he can come out at the end of the game, have 0 points and 0 shots, and he's the happiest guy in the locker room. You know, you just don't find a lot of guys like that anymore. So just, you know, his personality, who he is as a player, as far as defensively, you know, bringing the intensity every single night. And he sets the tone for us every night. That's who he is. And that's a big part of our team, and we need that. So, you know, finding guys like Pat, you know, it's not a lot of guys like that out there who can, like I said, can take over a game and have an effect and an impact on the game without scoring a point. And then you go into the locker room, he's the happiest guy in the locker room. So you love to have those kind of guys as a coach.
All right, thanks, Coach. That's all I have for you today.
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, man. Thank you.
I'll get back in, Chris. I'll get back in.
Yes.